Welcome back to the 10th Kingdom podcast.
Real to real. We're back.
I'm Tyler.
I'm
Who
not
are
going
you?
to interrupt.
Who are you? Who are you?
I'm Wilson.
And I'm Eric.
All right, we just got done watching the first episode.
Yep.
We're going to be going right into the second one now.
Yes.
The first one, the quick recap, is we just basically got to know the characters and the location.
We met our players, we got them in their places, and now they have started moving on the board. Just a recap for everybody at home. Big players: Virginia, her dad, the wolf, Prince Wendell the dog, the evil queen, the trolls. That's pretty much it
Yes.
Yeah.
for
We
now.
have
So,
Virginia and her dad bet up with the Wendell dog boy.
yep.
They now left New York and are in the 10th Kingdom.
Nope. They're in the Nine Kingdoms.
The
but-
ninth kingdom.
Ninth
They're,
Kingdom now.
they're in the fantasy
The,
world.
yeah, the
The
kingdoms.
kingdoms.
And the wolf has followed them there.
Yep.
And the trolls have captured Virginia.
Yep. She's with the trolls.
Unconscious.
Wendell
And,
and the dad are both in prison.
Yep.
Snow White Memorial Prison.
Yes.
Anthony, as he's called by the dog.
And the evil stepmother has revealed that she picked up where Snow White's evil
Stepmother,
stepmother
yep.
left off.
Yep.
And
Very good.
vows to continue her mission. Whatever.
Even though we just watched it, you remembered that perfectly.
Yes.
Let's jump right into it.
Episode 2, 10th Kingdom. Let's go.
Woo!
All right.
So that was episode 2.
Episode 2 of the 10th Kingdom.
What do you think about that one?
It starts getting things going. Like I said in the last one, after the first episode, it kind of like allows for things to open up and they really can start going places.
I
And-
saw that. I saw more magic happening in this one with the different mirrors that she would talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, I'm talking about the evil lady. Does she have a name?
The evil queen, the evil stepmother.
Yeah.
That's just what she's called.
Okay.
I
So
don't,
yeah,
I don't know.
she has 3 mirrors in her possession. There's probably
Or
more mirrors.
more.
Yeah, I think all of them talk to a
There's
kingdom,
like
probably.
there's like 3 that are featured, and then there's like more that are dug up as
I think
well.
mirrors are a big part of like talking to or somehow communicating with the other kingdoms in the world. Because like,
Well, for her, all of these mirrors were part of an arsenal that like the original evil queen had created, and she said before like some of these mirrors are for spying on people, some of them are for traveling, some of them are for communicating long distance. Like they each have their own specific purpose. Each mirror does. So she kind of like, as we see in that one scene, she like uses one to communicate with the Troll King. She uses another one. She talks directly to the mirror of like, mirror, why haven't you found this person? I think there might be one other one that she uses, but there's like the one that gets them in between New York and the kingdoms, like
Yep.
the one that travels.
that's the portal one.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of purposes for these mirrors.
Yeah, maybe we'll see more. Who knows? What do you think, Bracho? Yeah.
Insightful.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep. We didn't see a whole lot of the Troll King. We just know that he like usurped the one kingdom.
So yeah, so he was like there in the beginning at the prison break.
Yeah,
He was there like with his kids, and that's when the queen was like, "Summon Relish, the Troll King," and
Yep.
talked to him, and he like broke down and was like, I need a mirror." And then the next scene, he was like, I think he was rebelling against the queen, where like they had planned together, like, you know, the queen was like, "Let me do my thing, you support me in this, and I'll give you, you know, all this land and all of this stuff." And he kind of like reneged on the plan, I think, where
Yeah.
he was like, "Nah, fuck you, I'm just gonna do my own thing. Like, now that the system of power's out of place, like, I'm not gonna go along with your plan. I'm just gonna do whatever I want."
Yeah,
and
he's
she
a
was
troll.
like, "What the hell are you doing? We had a plan."
He trolled her.
He trolled her.
He
He trolled her.
he did.
He baited her.
And so we got introduced to a new character, Rutger Hauer's character of
Mhm.
some kind of huntsman,
The huntsman. The huntsman.
the huntsman
Yes.
from the folklores.
Kind of. He's like somebody who like accepted that job. It's like somebody who's like the sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
He's just now like the huntsman.
So like he's not on anybody's side really. He's like his own.
No, he's working for the queen because we have that one scene of her being like, "Find them for me. Bring whoever this
She's
is
got a
that
lot
I
of
can't
people.
see."
Like she. Who told the wolf to go? The queen, right?
Yeah.
To go to the 10th kingdom. Now she's telling the huntsman. Why didn't she tell the huntsman to go to the 10th kingdom at like the first time?
She doesn't know about the 10th kingdom, as far as we know. She just wants these people that she's sending out to get the dog because that's where the real Prince Wendell is inhabiting.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that she wants.
She just wants the
But
dog.
now that she like is trying to spy on the dog and she can't see the dog for some reason, and she's like, "Oh, it must be the people that she's with. Like, there's got to be somebody powerful with them who's like stopping me from seeing them."
Right.
So she's sending out the huntsman now that they're like in the kingdoms and actually like going about their way, which way that may be. She can't track them. She's like, "All right, I need you to go out there since you're really good at this, and I need you to actually track them down for me."
Yeah, it seems like Virginia has just been kind of caught up in the damsel trope right now.
Oh, yeah.
She got stolen by the trolls, and she got away from the trolls with a little help from the wolf. She stole some shoes, but by the end of the episode, she gets picked up by the huntsman,
Yeah.
and now it's just the wolf and
Well, mainly
Tony.
She gets cursed by those gypsies because the woman, when she's doing that reading on her, quote unquote,
Yeah.
is like, "Oh, let me get a snippet of your hair, and I'll be able to do this reading even better." And then she later, after they leave the camp, she like uses the hair to curse her, and then that makes
They
her
all
hair
die.
grow long. Yeah, all the gypsies die because the huntsman is like, "Fuck you! I would kill these people.
Fuck you. Hey,
I'm not a horse."
fuck you. But yeah, they got straight up murdered by the huntsman. So he's definitely
Straight up murdered.
an evil dude. Even though we think maybe the gypsies were a little bit evil on the evil side.
I mean,
maybe.
they placed a curse on her, so they did something that was not so nice. But
It was a troll. They were trolling her too. They basically gave.
is
her
that a
some-
troll?
Is it-
Because the incantation was like, "Make it burn, make her regret what she did, make her feel like shit. She should feel like poo poo." Like the incantation was all just about like
They hold grudges.
We want her
like
to suffer.
Crazy, I guess. Then because
They're
they
gyp-
just met Virginia.
I mean-
and it's like this bitch.
I
This
can't
stupid bitch.
I
We
can't
gotta make her
begin-
have long hair.
I can't begin to describe the wrath of gypsies. I know nothing about these people or what
They
crossing them might cost you.
in terms of this show, they depicted them as just a lively bunch of people that love to dance around a fire.
Yeah,
And they live in like tiny little shacks.
there was like a very fine line that they had to ride of like accepting their hospitality but doing absolutely nothing in their power to like offend these people, otherwise they might get filleted or something like that.
the
Like,
second that Tony started doing his song and dance.
Gypsies, stripes and thieves.
He did his best rendition of that song, and then they kind of just looked at him like he was out of this world. It was one of Eric's favorite
what,
parts
what
of
was
the
your
episode.
yeah? What did you had something specific about that gypsy part, didn't you?
Yeah.
I guess that is true. I never would have thought about it like that.
Oh wait,
but
yep. You were saying something else? I don't remember
Really?
that part. I don't remember that part.
I guess that might have been more figurative than literal, but
Oh wait. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see how that it would be.
Yep. Eric's right. That part was kind of the gypsy part really wasn't necessary. Maybe
Maybe.
because it's
But
just gonna like the huntsman or the woodsman, whoever has this like really special axe that can cut anything.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the woodsman is gonna be the better of the two guys that are like Rutger Hauer, and then we're gonna get introduced to the woodsman being somebody else.
The woodsman probably not an actor that we will recognize from anything. Like, we can probably look him up and be like, oh, he was in these things, but it might not be anything that we would ever recognize him from.
So he's like a bit character actor.
Quite possibly, because the character that it turns out to be is more like less the figure from folklore who like went after Snow White and was doing the bidding of the evil queen, and more the woodsman who like helped out Red Riding Hood against the big bad wolf, or found Hansel and Gretel after they burned the witch and like brought them back to home, and like the more helpful kind of woodsman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so by the end of this episode, Virginia is back in the clutches of somebody else, this time the huntsman, with her dad and the wolf. Oh, yeah, coming after him, and the dog, which is now made out of gold, because...
Yeah, we should talk a little bit about the escape from the prison,
Yep.
and then they get on a boat.
Troll faced the goblin, or whatever his name was. Something faced the goblin.
Yeah, he's got like a...
Moss face, grass faced the goblin.
Yeah, something like that.
And Acorn the dwarf had like dug a tunnel in their cell, and then Tony saw them.
Yeah,
with
just
the
like
tunnel and
Shawshank.
was like, "Oh, cook, let me come out with you. I see the Escape to Alcatraz. I have it on VHS."
Yep. So he saw a lot of movies, so he can definitely escape from a prison, a fairy tale prison.
And Virginia and the wolf had just escaped from the trolls. They went in there with the magic shoes that made them invisible. Went to the cell, and they were like, "Well, shit, he's not here." And they had the dog in tow, so they went through the tunnel. Everybody got out the tunnel, and they got on this boat to follow the mirror, which was on this junk boat that Acorn the dwarf took. Mm-hmm. They got chased by the trolls.
We don't know Acorn's mission or what he's doing. He's just kind of getting out of Dodge, really.
He was just getting away from that prison.
Yeah.
So they're following Acorn. They're on the boat. They find a magic fish in the bottom of the boat. That
comes
is like
with some rules.
there's a
And in
little
case
bit
of
of a
emergency,
contract
or in case of financial despair.
emergency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
was
it's
kind
like,
of
stick your finger in my mouth and you can turn things into gold. And
Yep.
so they, of course, Tony, being Tony,
Mm-hmm.
good old Tony, sticks his finger in that fish's mouth, and
Got his pinky, little bit of a gold magic dust on it.
then ended up inadvertently using that to save the dog from the trolls and turn both the trolls and the dog into gold in one fell swoop.
Yep.
Separated the dog, stuck it on some wheels, and said, "Hey, we're good."
Yep. So he saved the dog, but
Saved the dog from being one sculpture with the trolls.
mm-hmm.
But
And
the
Tony already kind of has the mission put forward to him from the dog anyway. So, like, we know that the dog is a prince, and Tony knows that the dog is important. So, like,
yeah,
really, you just have to... You don't really need the dog saying expositions. Whoa.
What did you think about the dog, Eric?
Was it that bad, Eric?
I mean, I know you didn't really like agree with his methodology, but the dog really didn't do anything that bad. You can't hold that big of a grudge against him.
I thought you loved dogs.
Just not this dog. Okay, fair.
Fair point.
Don't need to
I
get so
guess.
heated.
Sure.
This is just the 10th kingdom.
Yeah, jeez, you've seen this so many times. I can't believe you have that big of a issue with the dog.
How can you watch it when you don't like the dog that much? Well, what do you have to say for yourself? See,
Okay.
the joke is, ladies and gentlemen, that he's asleep right now. He fell asleep like 10 minutes into this.
Not even. He got comfy and he's down. He's down. But there was occasions when he perked up a little bit to be like, "What's going on here?
Hello, and goodbye again.
You guys still alive?" Yeah.
Oh, I am too, just not conscious.
So yeah, we're gonna kind of keep it a little bit short because we have more episodes. We have 4 more episodes.
There's 7 in total for this one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're hour and a half apiece,
Okay.
so there are 5 more.
5 more. So yeah, the big thing to take away from this is we got introduced to another character, another villainous type of character, and have yet to be introduced to the woodsman character.
The main thing about this episode was like we said before, like the first one, we were introduced to the characters. They were placed on the board, and then they started moving around.
They started playing.
And now we can kind of see what paths they're going to be taking. Like, goals have been laid out in front of these people, whether or not they are actively pursuing those goals or not. They have, like, oh, we know where the mirror is. That will get us back home. It's not here. We know that it went that way. We got to follow the mirror.
Yeah.
Or for Tony, it's like, hey, I got to help this dog get back to his body.
Yep. We should say that they ran into an old lady that gave them a little life lesson about breaking some sticks
She had a bundle
into
of
a
sticks.
bundle. And then if you can't, you can break a stick
You can
individually.
you can break one stick. Try and gather a lot of sticks in your hand, break that. Not that easy. So there's your lesson right there, folks. I won't even go further into it.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
It's just hard to.
Can't break sticks.
It's really hard to snap a bundle of sticks.
Yes.
You got to get like a chainsaw.
Or gloves. Yeah, I guess that is true.
Or you can put like I do, put it on a fulcrum. You put your foot on one end and you just yank with both hands on the other. Or just snap it. Put it on an even plane and just step on it with both feet.
Snappy.
That's one way to do it. But there was a lesson there. What, Bracho?
Yeah, so like that was unifying our characters, giving them things to do, and then sending them on their way with those things. Or like giving them a thing to do and then putting an obstacle in their way before
Yep.
they can really start like going after that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then there was also a little bit part I was gonna say about the doing more of the fairy tale stuff. Like, oh, there's a cool reference there. They have the Seven Dwarfs hut. Like they're trying to seek some shelter from the rain, and so they ran into a hut, and it turned out to be the Seven Dwarfs. And then we woke up the next morning, nice sunny day, and poor Virginia had a bunch of hair.
She had like 12 feet of hair.
Yeah,
Like not like maybe even more than that.
yeah. Right,
Well,
Bracho?
I guess Eric was right. She probably had like I don't know, more about 18, 20, you said? Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right.
But
But it was a long
a
train,
lot of hair.
and they can't cut it, and so she's kind of like a Rapunzel in that sense, because that's a fairy tale.
I can't think of any fairy tales that I can think of like a golden fish that lets you turn stuff into gold, or an axe that can cut anything. Like I can think of other stories that have aspects of those, but I can't think
Yeah.
of like specific stories about those. So those are maybe just ones that I'm not familiar with, or those are parts of stories that I've already heard that are just like not commonly adapted like into the Disney ones or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah, aren't like Cinderella and Snow White, aren't they all like Danish folk tales? Aren't they like from like some Northern European type of place?
Some are from other cultures. I don't know without looking it up.
Because if you look at like if you just look in like European castles, like Northern European castles,
Oh, yeah.
you'll be like, whoa, that's like a fairy tale castle.
oh yeah,
So like they definitely borrowed heavily from those that region, and I'm just thinking like that whole setting in this is like a lot of it was in the woods. So I was imagining it in like the Norwegian forests somewhere like that where
yeah.
you'd imagine creepy things happening or
There's no
fairy tale-esque things happening.
there's no credits for where they shot any of this. There's no like location credits really, like there are in some other places.
I could imagine it was all shot like in England somewhere.
Probably just to save on money.
But
But
it just looked well. There were some, I don't know if they were superimposed, but like they had mountains, like really steep looking mountains.
there are other shots too where it is like mountains. So they probably just traveled to like Germany for the Swiss Alps or like something
They could've
around
done that,
there.
yep.
And
Got some of the like static shots and then superimposed the characters on that backdrop somehow.
yeah, but we're just gonna keep traveling the more we keep watching this because they really do go like all over, and whether or not some of it is like more than likely on a soundstage for outdoor stuff or it is actual like shot on location kind of stuff. We just keep going more and more locations, a lot of different like towns, just locales and like
Will we-
environments too.
Will we ever get to that place where the wolf told Virginia not to go down? Because at the beginning, after he saves her, She's like, I don't need your help. And he's like, well, you do. You don't want to go that way. You want to go that way towards the bean forest. Will we go to the other direction that he told her not to go down?
No, because that was just more of like directions and not locations.
Okay, so
You know
there
what I'm-
wasn't like anything down that path. There was just nothing.
It was more of a gag. It was more of it was honestly just a way for them to get another fairy tale reference in there with the bean forest and with the giants
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
stuff
okay.
because it was just a gag where he was like, this very safe and pleasant looking path, we can't go down that.
Yeah.
We have to go over here, and the camera pans over to like an effect shot of this dark, thunderous,
Yeah.
lightning, beanstalk filled
Really
forest,
Eerie looking,
Yeah.
spooky forest.
like
yeah.
scary sound effects, and it's just that's a joke.
Yeah.
But then we actually go in there where they can get another reference in, they can have the story continue in some certain way. So it was, and in the story too, it was more of just like, hey, you don't know the Troll Kingdom, I do. To get out of here, you don't want to go that way. You want to go this way. More like, no, you don't want to go north. You want to go east.
Yeah, I'm
I
kinda-
think more like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm curious to what Broadshow thinks about the part where the Bee Gees got thrown into the lake. Yeah, rip Bee Gees, huh?
Well, and it was
Battery died on the boat, and the trolls were singing, having a jolly time.
yeah. There was that one troll who was dancing around. What do you think of those moves?
Was it jiving?
Night fever, night fever. No,
They don't like Night Fever.
he
that
didn't
much.
want to. He didn't want to join in.
But yeah, we'll watch the next episode. It's from the thumbnail. It looked pretty crazy.
I know what the next episode is.
It looks pretty nuts.
It does. It does start getting more fanciful. Like knowing with the little thumbnails that we're seeing of like how what they have for each episode. I know what's coming next, but in my mind, I'm thinking like, well, that's way farther down the line of the story, or like the timeline in my mind of what happens is more stretched out. Or what I always feel like the gypsy scene takes place like 2 or 3 episodes later than it does.
Really?
But it happens like second episode. Like, so every time I watch this, I'm like, oh yeah, that does happen now.
So to break it down, in this episode, we got a bit more connection with the wolf and Virginia, and I mean Virginia.
Wolf and the dad, the
Yeah.
dog and the dad.
I mean, the wolf was really coming on hard with Virginia, like just not even beating around the bush, just being like, "Hey, you're sexy." And
Is that, do you think, supposed to be some sort of like direct reference or joke about like the kind of wolf character they had a couple times in like Chuck
Cartoons.
Flesher
Yeah.
or like old cartoons with the wolf eyes and the wolf whistle and stuff
and
like
he was
that?
howling, and yeah, he was like panting his foot down.
Because I see no other reason to make, like, you want a romance angle for a show like this where you want it to appeal to a lot of different audiences. You do want to have, like, if you have a good looking male in a lead role and a good looking female in a lead role, that's a great opportunity to write in
Conventionally
some
good-looking.
romance. Yes. And so, like, I can understand wanting to have that in there, but I can understand no other reason to write your character in this way where he's so nonstop and so like all about that.
Yeah, but like the thing that helped him was reading those self-help books. Mm-hmm. Like for some reason he had a bunch of books on him that he's reading from the 10th Kingdom.
Because first episode, after he got thrown out the window and had that meeting with the therapist, he went into
Yes.
Central Park.
Yes, and
and
he
was
just went to the book
buying
stands.
books off a stand, and that's how he got back. Into
Or he
the
just stole a bunch of books and ran off
yeah,
into the
that's
forest.
how he got back into the kingdoms, or like how he was in the park to go through the portal.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's borrowing a lot of self-help books and kind of going through therapy throughout the whole. I'm guessing his whole arc is gonna be, he's gonna turn a new tale on his being a wolf and kind of try to be more of a polite human being. And
It's a very
Yeah.
fair assumption.
he got his tail patted. And
What do you? Here's a question. What do you think Virginia's arc is going to be, or Tony's arc for that instant? for that
Tony?
matter?
Well,
Either of them.
what I kind of predicted is that maybe they're gonna find out what happened to the mom because she just disappeared or something like that.
Okay.
They're gonna either find out what happened to her in the kingdoms and who she's become, or what their real lineage is.
That's not fair, Eric. You've seen this before. He hasn't. You can't just blurt it out like that. The real answer. But continue. I'm sorry.
But
just
yeah,
pretend you didn't hear that.
I mean, yeah. Thanks a lot, Eric. What?
All this talk. We're gonna have to put up a spoiler warning. You're getting into things that we're not even talking about now. Stop spoiling things.
Yeah, we're just gonna probably have to end it here because Eric's just going on a tangent.
I don't know what kind of attitude he's gotten in. Maybe that dog put him in such a bad mood that he just wants to be disruptive.
I bet it was the Bee Gees getting thrown in the river.
Night fever, night fever. He's just not having any of it tonight, folks.
Nope. So yeah, we'll be back with another episode pretty soon, and then yeah, maybe Eric can kind of divulge more of what he's trying to talk about.
We'll get him refocused for the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next one then.
Goodbye.